Friends, welcome to the last video of the year, my annual year in review, a sort of Undoctrination 2025 wrapped. It turns out spending endless hours on the internet gives you brain rot and makes you forget like 90% of the year, and so I like making these as a sort of time capsule of politics, pop culture, the general zeitgeist. I was kind of energized and optimistic as we close the chapter on 2024. This year, however, I fear we're gonna have to take serious inventory of our blessings because it's definitely been a heavy one, and I don't think I'm the only one who feels that way.
2025 was the worst year ever.
You look like hell. I just got back.
So before we begin, get cozy, grab a blanket, a cup of tea, hot cocoa, maybe some spiked eggnog, and enjoy the video. Before I beat you over the head with politics, let's start with something light, refreshing, and endlessly entertaining: the world of pop culture, memes, and media. While 2025 felt a bit dull, we did get Labubus and K-pop Demon Hunters, so big year if you were 10. We also had a second, equally concerning round of the Wicked press tour, and while the internet debated calling a wellness check on the cast, Michelle Yeoh gave us this delightful meme.
Madam Horrible MM. Flip it around, Wicked Witch!
The most ridiculed archetypes of 2025 were the performative male and the West Village girl. I think they belong together. And Frankenstein made chartreuse the true color of the year. Take that, Pantone. Sydney Sweeney came under fire for her jeans. We shared secrets and sipped dirty sodas with the Mormon women of Mom Talk and explored Thailand with the cast of White Lotus. Addison Rae saved pop music this year, making an incredible leap from TikTok stardom to true artistry. And we got a new Taylor Swift album, which could only be overshadowed by one thing, and that was a Taylor Swift engagement. Yes, it's true, America's royal wedding is on, and so is mine. I also got engaged this year. But while love won for some of us, others were declaring that having a boyfriend is embarrassing, so gender relations are as fraught as ever. But one couple decided to save us and remind us that there truly is someone out there for everyone. I'm talking about Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau, of course. And Katy made headlines with her girls' trip to space on Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin. And if that wasn't sci-fi enough for you, every aging celebrity in Hollywood debuted a new face this year, and sometimes a new body. Ozempic hit Hollywood like a train in 2025, and so did the Deep Plane facelift. Scrolling social media now feels like sifting through a river of slop and sludge, and as a content creator myself, I must admit, it takes a lot to get attention on the internet now. So the influencers got weirder, political commentators became more extreme, and everyone's most recent fascination is a guy who admits to doing meth to slim down his face.
So I actually do have a new lean maxing strategy that's quite controversial. A combination of Adderall and methamphetamine. I stayed awake the entire time.
In October, we got a real-life heist at the Louvre, and we all learned what it meant to own a farm, but for some of us, it comes naturally. On April 21st, Pope Francis passed away, may he rest in peace, and a man from Chicago, Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, was announced as Pope Leo XIV. While America celebrated, the rest of the world reminded us that the papacy is not the World Cup. But by far, my favorite piece of culture this year was the JD Vance meme. They have quite literally not gotten old all year. I like the fat ones, the baby face ones, the creepy, surreal ones, and I like that he cosplayed the meme for Halloween. Speaking of which, we have an incredibly online administration in the White House. Sabrina Carpenter and SZA know that all too well. And with that, let's get into politics. Friends, you owe me a sub if you haven't already, because reviewing 2025's political climate was exhausting, and it was exhausting to experience in the moment. In January, Donald Trump was inaugurated for his second term as president after being pushed to the outskirts of politics, and this time was not like the first. New faces emerged like Kash Patel, Robert F. Kennedy, and Tulsi Gabbard. The richest man in the world, Elon Musk, stepped in to advise on a Javier Milei-style program slashing bureaucracy and spending, which was branded after a meme. Again, this is the most online presidency ever. And the Zoomers running the Department of Homeland Security's X account made schizo posting an official form of government communication. It's truly out with the old and in with the new. Longtime GOP leader Mitch McConnell retired, as did Nancy Pelosi, and younger generations entered politics with wildly different perspectives than their elders, specifically on the issues of Israel, foreign intervention, Epstein, and immigration. Nothing controversial there. For young leftists, ICE-led deportations and National Guard deployments to American cities have been a rallying issue, while young conservatives challenged even legal pathways into the country. And all of this while the administration moved at breakneck speed to implement their agenda. We've had executive orders out the wazoo. We've seen deportations, dismantled agencies, and withdrawn funding, and Trump's love affair with tariffs has created a ripple effect throughout the economy and the world. On the international front, America has been heavily involved in negotiating a peace deal in the Israel-Palestine conflict, and significant progress seems to have been made. Praise the Lord. The world saw several new right-wing leaders ascend to higher office, including Jose Antonio Cast in Chile and Senai Takaichi in Japan. Javier Milei's party in Argentina had a big victory in the midterms, signaling that the people want more libertarian economic leadership, and Bolivia officially closed the chapter on 2 decades of socialist leadership, electing Rodrigo Paz as their new president. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for Venezuela, where Nicolas Maduro was inaugurated for his 3rd time, despite mass protests and widespread concerns about voter fraud. In Nepal, Gen Z led protests against the communist leadership and elected an interim president via Discord. And in Canada, Justin Trudeau stepped down as prime minister, only for the country to elect basically another Justin Trudeau. Unfortunately, all of this kinetic energy is not what truly defined politics for me in 2025. So much happened this year, and I think I felt every emotion that a person can feel: exhilaration, sadness, anger, joy. But by far, grief is what came through the most. A lot of people lost their lives to war, political violence, terrorism. The first day of the year was marked by a terrorist attack on New Orleans, and recently another on Bondi Beach. Halfway through the year, State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark were murdered in their home, and Charlie Kirk's death, for me, was a devastating year-defining moment. In real time, the whole country saw a graphic assassination on TikTok. And in the aftermath of such an awful event, the political climate became even worse. There is something about the onslaught of violence, gore, political radicalism, and the seamless fusion of these images and ideas that has brought out the darkness in so many people. And I worry that the tension and violence will only escalate. Where is the off-ramp? And this is why I feel so differently than I did last year, and why I think of 2025 as a year that will define decades of American politics to come, similar to the late 60s. During those years, we saw mass protests against the Vietnam War and the draft. In 2025, it's been against the war in Gaza, and more recently, mass deportations. In both decades, high-profile social leaders were assassinated. MLK in 1968 and Charlie Kirk in 2025, both advocates of peaceful discourse. And all of this while experiencing an era of technological transformation and shifting geopolitical tensions. But there is something very different about 2025, and that is AI. Artificial intelligence has a growing influence in our economy, the media we consume, and in our daily lives. This technology has made innovation and human creativity nearly limitless, but it's also created a lot of fear of the future. I couldn't tell you what the next 5 years will look like if I had a crystal ball. It truly is anyone's guess, and we're all along for the ride. These changing times call on us to be the best, most responsible versions of ourselves, and I wonder if we're up to the task. I think a year like 2025 can show us what's really important. While politics this year certainly made me less optimistic, when I think of my private life, I feel much more thankful and excited about the future. I'm getting married next year. I have incredible people in my life, and this channel has grown so much thanks to all of you watching. This community has become one of the most enriching parts of my life, and I feel so incredibly lucky. So I think the main takeaway from 2025 is to focus on what is in your control and what blessings are abundant in your life. Social media and the news can be so distracting, anxiety-inducing, and draining. How can we create lives that energize and recharge us? The new year is a time of transformation, resolutions, and big declarations, so the best time to start is now. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you for all of the support and encouragement you've given me over the past year, and I can't wait to see you all again in the new year. Ciao.